Do I look okay? Do I look okay? I look fine. I look fabulous. Yes, I do. Someone's got my extra hair off there. Superb. Hello. Welcome to the League Two predictions video, which I have not done for a little while. So I'm going to run you through the weekend games for the start of the busy festive period in League Two, and what I think is going to happen over the weekend. I say that because it seems as though this round of fixtures have been split over the Friday and the Saturday. So this is going to be an interesting one, and maybe a slightly long one. But I think League Two is becoming quite a fascinating league. If you look at how League Two is right now, no one's really running away with it, which I like as a competitive person myself. I like leagues to be competitive. I say that, and at the moment Stockport are absolutely leading the way, only by 6 points though, but they're leading the way from Barrow and Wrexham, and just behind them in the playoffs is Mansfield, Crewe, and Notts County and the Wombles of Wimbledon. And just behind them are Morecambe, who seem to be having a few issues again for some reason. And down at the bottom end of League Two, it seems to be all changed right now as Matt Gray recently lost his job as Sutton United manager. I felt kind of sorry for Matt Gray. I think, I understand why they did it. They lost 8-0 last time out to Stockport, and I think most managers will lost their job after losing 8-0. But I think Sutton have just had a kind of a come down sort of situation and levelling off, and they haven't had a very good season this season. Halfway, and I think they probably made the right decision to make it now, even though they've only lost the one in the last 6. We'll get into what I think they'll do, but not only have Sutton sacked Matt Gray, Forest Green have also replaced their manager, and David Horsfall, wasn't it? Sorry if I butchered his name, Forest Green fans. But they've replaced their manager with the ex-Walsall and Birmingham striker and Watford striker, Troy Deeney, has taken over his first managerial role. And good luck to him, because he's got a tough job on his hands again with the Forest Green, because they haven't really found their footing in League Two at all. They've actually had a dreadful season, considering they got relegated last season. They're now in the relegation places in League Two as well, so they're not having the best of times. Salford City, without doubt, are underperforming so far, and I think surprising for me as well how underwhelming Salford have been so far this year. Then we shuffle into the middle of the pack. Obviously, you've got Harrogate there, who I think are pushing probably above their weight right now. But, they're 22 games into the season, nearly halfway through. Being 21 games, sorry, and nearly halfway through, and they're in a good position in the league, a good stable position in the league, really. And then you look at Crawley, who are having a fantastic season, considering the issues they were having. Obviously, former Grimsby striker Danilo Orsi is having quite a spell at Crawley. Bradford are starting to find their feet as well. I think with Graham Alexander in there, he's kind of steadied the ship, and he's starting to, as they're starting to slowly climb the table, whereas probably a team that you would expect to do maybe a little bit better in in Gillingham. You know, I mean, they're in the top 10, but probably not doing as well as you would expect. I think everyone is probably roughly where you'd expect them to be. Notts having a little bit of a drop off. Well, actually, a massive drop off, and I'll go into that during this video. But anyway, now shall we talk about some matches that's going to be played over this weekend? Like I said, it'll be played over Friday and Saturday. So we'll start, actually, believe it or not, with one of the new managers. Troy Deeney gets his reign at Forest Green underway, hosting Gillingham. This is a 7 o'clock kickoff, by the way. The rest of the games we're going to talk about are 7:45, but Forest Green and Gillingham kick off at 7. Forest Green, obviously, bringing in Troy Deeney as first team full-time manager against the Gillingham side that one of their biggest problems is they can't score enough goals. And, you know, I was unknown when I looked at this fixture thinking, is there going to be a winner? Obviously, Forest Green need it because obviously they're trying to pull back a 5-point gap in the table, which there is at the minute. I mean, they're second bottom on 15 points. They're 5 points below the cut-off line, 5 points behind Colchester. So they really need to start winning fairly soon. Gillingham, like I said, are in 10th, but they've only scored 19 goals this term. All Gillingham have scored. That they haven't got the potency going forward, and I think that is what's letting Gillingham down. I mean, Forest Green pretty much the same. I mean, actually, there's only one goal between Gillingham and Forest Green, so we all know where really the issues for both teams are. But Forest Green defensively as well are this is why this game is so difficult to pick. I think Gillingham may just have enough, but Forest Green could have that that new manager bounce. With Troy, who knows? Troy could bring in a different sort of style, his own style, his first managerial chance. Oh, what do? Do you know what? I'm gonna say they're gonna get that bounce. Now I'm gonna say a 2-1 win for Forest Green here. It won't be the result everyone else around them will want, but I do actually fancy them to maybe get a result here, because if they can score more than one goal, I fancy them to beat Gillingham. So I'm going to say Forest Green 2, Gillingham 1. Colchester plays Salford. Now this is a big game near the bottom of the table. Colchester obviously are third bottom, and Salford are 2 places above them in 20th. They're having pretty much the same record. I think it's just that Salford have drew 3 more, and Colchester have lost 4 more. But it's 2 struggling teams here. Colchester in 22nd on 20 points. Salford on 20th on 23 points. This is tough to call this. Do you know I'm going to go for a draw here? I mean, Salford really have not been performing as to what I'm sure Gary Neville and the team over there would want them to do. They definitely aren't. And Colchester kind of doing what you'd expect them to do. You know, you kind of expect them to be struggling. So I'm going to go. Going to make this one short and sweet. I'm going to go for Colchester 2. No, I'm not. I'm going to go for Colchester United 1, Salford City 1. Obviously having Matt Smith at Salford, which I believe they still do. He's always a danger in the air. But I just fancy this to be a scrappy draw. So I'm going to go 1-1 there, like I said. Next, we've got Crawley Town hosting AFC Wimbledon. Now, this could be anything. Wimbledon really have had a great season. Not had a bad last 6. I mean, they've won 3, drew 1, and lost 2. But 32 points from 21 games played. Crawley are 13th, but they're only 2 points off of Wimbledon. If they were to win, they would go above Wimbledon. And with Danilo Orsi being there, they've got a chance, and obviously, it's one of these games. Who's going to do it? I mean, got to remember James Tilley, who is a former Crawley Town player, now plays for Wimbledon. Don't give a penalty away, because James seems to be able to be knocking them in when he gets the chance. Obviously, he's come off his form a little bit, but you've got 2 dangerous teams there. And again, this is why I say it's so hard to predict. I'm gonna go. Would this be classed as a derby of some sort? It's a London derby of some sort. I know that. I'm going to go for. This is difficult. I'm going to go for Wimbledon to just nick it by 2-1, I think. A 2-1 win for Wimbledon over Crawley. I do fancy James Tilley to get a goal for Wimbledon, and I do fancy Danilo Orsi to get on the score sheet for Crawley. But they've both got good squads. I think Crawley are punching above their weight, what people thought they'd be doing at the start of the season. And I think it could be, again, a real good game for League 2 level. But 2-1 win for me for Wimbledon at Crawley. Watch me get that so wrong. The next game is Crewe as they host Barrow. Again, more a top of the table end clash. I mean, you've got second here playing 5th. Crewe have had a great season, a solid season so far. 10 wins from their 21 games played. They've got 37 points. Barrow only 3 points better off, with 11 wins, 7 draws and 3 defeats. 40 points from 21 games played. And I cannot speak highly enough of what Barrow are achieving at the moment, and I think we just have to give them all the props in the world. Crewe are a dangerous side. I think we're the only team in the last. My team, Grimsby, the only team in the last 6 games that Crewe have lost to. So they're no pushovers. This could be a very, very good game of football as well for the level. And I'm going to fancy Pete Wild to carry on the form. I think against Crewe. I just fancy it. I feel it in my bones. You know what I mean? I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Barrow at Crewe. Yeah, that could be very very drastic, but I think that Barrow have got a team. They have a belief which they probably never had before, but I'm sure their fans are on absolute cloud 9, and why shouldn't they be? They're not where they are for nothing. So for me, a tough win against Crewe, but I think Barrow are going to get it 2-0 for me. Next game is Doncaster up against Barrow. Doncaster can't seem to get a foothold in themselves at the moment. I mean, the 19th definitely improved with Grant McCann, but they still can't seem to get out of that bottom 6, 7 teams, and it might be starting to get a little bit annoying for them. They've lost 3 of their last 6, drawing 1 and winning the other 2. But it's just like, wow. You'd expect Doncaster to do a lot better than they have. And they probably are having an underwhelming season, if I'm honest. And Bradford, like I said, they're starting to find some continuity in belief in the team. Since Mark Hughes left and Graham Alexander took over, everyone was a bit sceptical. Graham just lost his job at Milton Keynes and then got hired at Bradford, and we were like, oh no, this is they're on a slide. But no, they've won the last 3. They're on 29 points now. He's starting to pull something together. So Doncaster are going to have to be careful in this Yorkshire derby. Obviously, they're going to have the confidence. And I fancy them to go to Doncaster and win. I'm going Doncaster Rovers 0, Bradford City 2 to get their 4th straight win. I think Donny need a result because they could easily find themselves dragged into a relegation fight if they're not very, very careful. But Bradford, they just seem to be sort of slowly but surely finding their feet, and we'll see what they're able to do. And the final game on Friday night is the league leaders Stockport hosting, I'm going to say, struggling Notts County. And here's why I say struggling Notts County. Now, Stockport are top of the table. After 22 games played, they've got 46 points. They've scored 49 goals already this season, conceding 21, with a goal difference of plus 28. Notts County lying 6th in the playoff places, obviously 5 points clear of being knocked out of them. But Wimbledon, are playing on the same night as them, so they could drop to, they could drop to within. If Wimbledon win, they could go a point behind Notts County. And again, I think one of Notts County's problems, I've always said this, defensively, they are awful. I mean, the record at the minute for goals scored and against, they've scored 44. And like I said, they've won 11 games. They've won half of the games this season, so it isn't all bad, but they've conceded 41. You just know going into... and they've lost the last 2 as well. It's at Walsall and against Walsall last time out as well. And actually lost 4 of their last 6. So Notts aren't in the best of form. And it will be, I think they're struggling with a goalkeeper. They're struggling with, I don't know if they know their best side right now. I think also they're struggling with a little bit of form. But they're a big club, the way they are on merit. Obviously, after 22 games, they're not there on fluke. But Stockport County are absolutely flying. If this had been at Meadow Lane, I'd have probably made it a bit more 50-50. But at Edgeley Park, you've got to fancy the league leaders, haven't you, really? I mean, they're going to have a chance to probably extend the gap. I'm going to go for Stockport in this. I'm going to go for. Forgive me, Notts County fans, but I'm going to go for a 4-1 win for Stockport. I just think that Notts County's defence are so fragile that, and it's just, it's kind of, I wonder if Notts County fans can get back to me on this one. Is it an omen that Carl Wootton is coming back up against his former side? And I can see him scoring a couple of goals against you guys. And that's why I'm saying 4-1. And obviously they've got Paddy Madden, former Scunthorpe striker. He knows where the net is as well. I think it's just lined up for Carl Wootton to come and whoop his former team. I'm sorry, Notts County fans, but your defence does concern me. Your attack doesn't, but your defence most certainly does. And I'm going to go big. I'm going to go Stockport County 4, Notts County 1. Please don't come at me if you don't believe that, but I don't think a lot of Notts County fans can complain at the moment. That is Friday's fixtures done. And now we move on to the Saturday fixtures, which are as follows. We start with Accrington Stanley hosting Walsall. Accrington, just in the top half of the league, 9th on 31 points from 22 league games played. Very solid team. Difficult to beat. Lost 9 times this year, drew 4 and won 9. And Walsall, they've seemed to have turned a little bit of a corner, winning the last 2 games. And I think it's, the kind of what Matt Sadler needs. I would just err on the side of caution for Walsall fans. Obviously, you want to have that belief, of course you do. But now is the time for them to have belief and have confidence in your side. You've won your last 2. You're obviously going to feel buoyant. And actually, Accrington have only won 1 of their last 6. They've drew the last 2. So Accrington aren't in the best of form. Walsall could be turning a corner. Apparently, I think there's issues with Isaac Hutchinson, whether he'll be staying at Walsall or not. I don't think people kind of know what's going on there. Jamil Matt is starting to find a bit of confidence. Accrington, like I said, not in the best of form lately. Only 1 win in 6. Do I go for the Saddlers in this? Oh, this is. With it being John Coleman's Accrington, you never know. This is a difficult one. I'm going to go for a draw here, guys. I'm going to go for Accrington Stanley 1, Walsall 1. Walsall, though, are going to want to keep their positive run going. And I don't want to overexcite Walsall fans, because I know how some of them can go. But if they do win and results go their way the night before, they could end up in the top half of the division. That is how tight it is. They're actually on 27 points from 21 games played. They are, at the moment, they are 5 points from the playoffs, but at the same time, they are near enough. They are only 6 points from as low as 21st. So, they're near enough as close to the playoff area as they are the bottom 5. But obviously they've got the confidence. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between Accrington and Walsall on Saturday afternoon. Next we have, as we go into the next fixture, there it is. My boys, Grimsby Town, they host Harrogate Town. Oh joy. What can I say? David Artell is now the manager of Grimsby Town. We are unbeaten in the last 6 games since Paulhurst. 6 league games since Paulhurst left back in October. Got a draw last time out in Newport. We did beat Crewe time before that, and we beat Morecambe in that time. And Harrogate are as well, obviously under Simon Weaver, punching well above their weight and doing really well. 27 points from their 21 games played. Everyone's roughly around about halfway now. And this is going to be a tight one. I have done a preview for Grimsby Town and Harrogate. That is on my channel. Go and check that out. It is on there for you to watch if you're a Harrogate or a Grimsby Town fan. Do go and give that one a look. I have given a prediction on that one. I will stick to it. I've gone for a 3-2 win for Grimsby over Harrogate, although the form in overall head-to-head competitions would give it to Harrogate. But there's no doubt that it's going to be a good game of football. But I think the Mariners, we just need to pull ourselves away a bit further away from the bottom end. If we do win, we will go above Harrogate. But obviously, it's going to be a tough game. But I think the Mariners can do it at Blundell Park. A 3-2 win for David Artell's Mariners this coming Saturday. And the next game on Saturday is going to be Morecambe as they host MK Dons. Now this one, you don't know what Morecambe you're going to get. No one knows what Morecambe people are going to get. Morecambe are just outside the playoffs on 31 points from 20 games played. I mean, they're actually, to be fair, they've had a very good season considering the off-field problems, and MK Dons have kind of underperformed in general, but in the last 6 games they've won 4 and drew 2. I mean, you know, they're in the top half of the table, both these teams. Obviously Morecambe won last time out. You've got to fancy Milton Keynes, haven't you, really? Williamson is doing a great job at Milton Keynes, the former Gateshead boss, he's got them firing. I fancy him to do a job weirdly on Saturday against Morecambe. I'm going to say a 3-1 win for the MK Dons over Morecambe. I think Morecambe, it's not going to be an easy trip for the MK Dons, but I just fancy him to get the job done. Morecambe, though, are having a good season, so it'll be interesting to see what goes on. But I'm saying 3-1 to Milton Keynes Dons for this one. The 4th game on Saturday will be newly marginless Sutton United as they host the Juggernauts that are Nigel Clough's Mansfield Town. On paper, this is such a mismatch. It's nigh on ridiculous. Mansfield only losing 1 game all season, drawing 9 and winning 10. They've won half their games already. 39 points. They're literally within a point of 2nd place. Ridiculous. And I've always said they're probably the best team that I've seen my side play this season. And they're playing bottom of the table Sutton. I just don't see any outcome apart from a win for Mansfield. Obviously, Sutton have got Craig Clay and that in there, but I just don't know where they've got enough right now, Sutton, to really cause, especially a team like Mansfield, problems. I think it's all about, can they stay in the game? Maybe the longer Sutton stay in the game, the more chance they actually have of getting something. I've got to be honest, I've got to go with Mansfield. I mean, the amount of quality that they've got at Mansfield, Keeler Dunn, just to put one name out. I can't say anything other than a Mansfield win. The only thing you can hope for Sutton is if they can stay in the game. But I think if Mansfield were to score first, they'll romp to this. And I'm actually going to say Mansfield are going to win this one fairly comfortably. Sorry, Sutton fans, I really am. But I'm just saying as it is. I don't think your squad's good enough. I don't think your squad's strong enough. I fancy Mansfield to come away with a comfortable 3-0 win and possibly head in to the top 3 in the division. Next, Tranmere Rovers host Michael Flynn's Swindon Town. Now this one is very... I don't know how to call this one really. Tranmere Rovers are down in 21st. They obviously lost their last fixture at against Walsall, so they're coming off a defeat. And but Nigel Atkins again, he steadied the ship, because before that they'd obviously won 3 of the 5 before that. So they've definitely been able to drag themselves away. Like I said, they're on 21 points so far, so they are becoming a little bit more dangerous. And I think Tranmere will be just fine. Playing Swindon, you don't know which Swindon you're going to get. You really don't know what Swindon you're going to get. And because at the minute, Swindon are 12th. But they have lost 3 of their last 6 and consecutively lost the last 2 games. Swindon is similar to Notts County. I mean, they've scored 43 and they've conceded 43. 30 points for them. I think if Swindon turn up, I think they win. But if they're ever so slightly off it, Tranmere could scrape something. And you know what? Because they've been in such good form lately, I fancy them to get a point. I think they will get a point. I'm going to say 1-1 between Tranmere and Swindon. Watch it actually be more like 4-4, because Swindon do like a goal or 2. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between Tranmere and Swindon Town. Like I said, even though Swindon have got the league's top scorer in Jake Young, I think they need to tighten themselves up at the back as well, because they can't keep leaking that many goals and start to be a little bit more consistent like they were at the beginning. They've got 30 points so far. They could better that, and I'm sure they will. They could end up in the playoffs depending on results. Otherwise, the end of the weekend, so who knows? But I fancy a draw against Tranmere. Also, mainly because Tranmere are at home for that game, and they'll want a response after the Walsall defeat. And next we have a Welsh derby. A Welsh derby is Wrexham host Newport County. This is the final game of League Two for this weekend. Wrexham are doing extremely well on their return to the EFL. Third place so far. They've scored 44 goals, conceded 32 with a plus 12 goal difference. They're on 40 points. So they're behind Barrow on goal difference and 1 point. By 1 point ahead of Mansfield and 3 points ahead of Crewe, while only 4 points ahead of Notts County as well. So it is quite tight up there. And you have to say that it's, on paper you fancy Wrexham to win this one, and I do. I mean, Newport have got Omar Bogle, who is a real threat, and so is Bryn Morris, to be completely honest. Especially from distance, you don't want to leave Bryn with chances from distance because he will take them on. But I think Wrexham will have just too much for Newport. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win for Wrexham in this Welsh derby. And I think that it'll be another win. I don't think the top four will change much, to be honest, because I think, you know, that they've all got games that they are more than capable of winning. So it wouldn't surprise me if the gap between the top four stayed exactly the same. But it's going to be an interesting battle all over. Even the mid-table battle's interesting. Who's going to finish where? You know, the bottom two are being cut adrift a little bit. I think they need to start picking up a couple of wins. Sutton are 6 points from safety. Forest Green are 5 points from safety. But Forest Green do have 2 games in hand on Colchester. So, you know, there's always a chance, and even Sutton have that game in hand. So they can close the gap if they get it. But that is my predictions done. Like I said, the last one, I'm saying Wrexham 3, Newport 1. That is my predictions done for the weekend's League 2 fixtures. Do leave your comments down below for me on what you think your team score is going to be and what you're hoping your team can achieve. You can be biased with your team, obviously. Obviously, most football fans are going to go with their heart, not the head, really. But I think it's going to be another interesting weekend in League 2. And I look forward to see what happens. If you're going to a League 2 fixture over the weekend, do enjoy it and go to the game and celebrate your hearts out and see what goes on, and good luck to your team. Good luck to your team. I mean this wholeheartedly. Good luck to Harrogate after this weekend. No, I'll be at the Grimsby games. If anyone, any Harrogate fan or any Grimsby fan, come and see me, I'll say hello to you. If you're going to a game at the weekend, do enjoy. Good luck to your teams, and hopefully you all have a good weekend. And I'll be back with a preview for the games on Boxing Day. That'll be the next League 2 preview that I do, and we'll go over all the good stuff and the results from this weekend coming up. So that is me done. That is my waffling done for the day. But like I said, enjoy the games. If you do like this video, hit that like button. That lets YouTube know that you like my stuff, you like my content, and I'll continue doing more. And I may even start doing more club specifics for certain clubs. If there's any questions you got for me as well, leave them down below in the comments. And I will see you guys very soon for the Boxing Day preview. In the meantime, have a good one, guys. A Merry Christmas to all football fans all over, all families, all people, all the people. Hope you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year as well, and I just hope everyone enjoys themselves and has a great festive season. So with that, I bid you adieu, and I will see you guys very soon with the boxing preview. See you soon, guys. Bye bye.